we haven't talked about the dialogues at all. You can test your dialogues inside Arcweave. If you go to the Start Here board, you get to the project starting element marked with this star here. And then this leads to all your dialogues. And now let's say we want to change the dialogue of Baal. This is the beginning, and there are some requirements now here that you need to take into consideration. One is that the first element of a dialogue needs to have a certain attribute. So if we click on this icon here, double click, we see that this element has an attribute called dialogue. It's a string attribute, and the value is start. So dialogue start. The same with the first element in the dialogue with Jorge the Vampire Magus. Dialogue start. Okay. The second requirement is this first element must specify which enemy it refers to. So it should have the enemy attached as a component. The game searches for all the elements that have the start dialogue attribute, but also for the specific enemy. If you want to add an enemy, therefore, you should also create a dialogue for that enemy. Let's say we want to add an enemy, and the easiest way to add an enemy is to duplicate one of the wizard's components. Let's say I want to duplicate my player, right-click, duplicate. So this is the copy. And I'm going to say, all right, let's say we create another wizard called Archibald, the Dark Powers Specialist. Right. Now we go to our assets. I think we have an extra asset here. There you go, Archibald. Let's give him a couple of cards. Fireball. Snake case. All right, let's go with that. And here is dark blue. There must be some dark blue, right? Battle background. So let's put a screen background for Archibald. Cloud service. Yeah, why not? Let's use this one. Come on. And the audio theme. Let's use this. I don't have many audio themes here, but let's just use this one. Now let's go to our component of settings, which has disappeared. Now here it is. And we want the first enemy to be this guy. Now if we just run this as it is, now if I go and play this, it says, aren't you forgetting something? And we get a placeholder image. And if we go to our console, it says starting element not found for dialogue with Archibald, the Dark Power Specialist. So it has found the Archibald component, but it hasn't found the dialogue. So starting element must have exactly one speaker component attached, and two properties attribute dialogue with value start. Cannot start dialogue, no starting element found. Well, obviously, we haven't done it. So what I need to be doing here is I can create another board called Archibald. And then I'm going to start here. We need an element that has the enemy, the specific enemy, attached as a component. And also it has the property string field dialogue start. Perfect. Now I can create a reply. First of all, say, you dare not fight me. I do too. And then I think there is an issue with having this as or let me get rid of the mention. I think there's a problem with the mention. We need to fix that. Let's get back to that. Refetch. And play. You dare not fight me, and then next, I do too, and then go to battle. So when the dialogue finishes here, there's nothing else after that. This go to battle button appears automatically. Of course, we don't have a background image for that because the background image needs to be here in the first element. There needs to be, it doesn't have to do with a battle background. It needs to be added here in the dialogue. So if I go to the assets, so the first, as you can see from the other enemy dialogues, all first elements have a cover image, and this is the image that is used in the dialogue sequence. So let's go to Archibald and give him also some ice. All right. So now if we fetch, we can finally have everything. We have his face, we got the background, we have the dialogue, and we get to play. And if you remember, this is the background image that we picked for Archibald. The dark blue, this is Archimedes blue, and this is how you can add an enemy. So what if we don't want the dialogue to start with the enemy line? Then we need to leave this text, this first element, empty. So we have bal component attached here, and the dialogue start attribute, but the very first element doesn't have any content, which basically makes the dialogue start from the player's line. One last note, if you want to test your dialogues inside Arcweave, we press play. We also need to add our new dialogue, Archibald. So you copy the first element, you go to start here board, and you right click and paste as jumper. And you just connect. Now Archibald, the dark power specialist, is here, and we can test the dialogue. You dare not fight me. Yes, I do. No, I don't, but I will anyway. Now the problem is when we finish this, the dialogue is finished and we cannot continue the testing. So there is an issue here. The issue is, how can we test our dialogues inside Arcweave and keep looping through our dialogues without actually reaching a dead end, like in our case here, and then just having to restart? This is not a big problem, but still you may want to be able to just loop through your dialogues without restarting your play mode. Now this is how you should do this. If you go to any of the other dialogues, for example, Baal, you'll see that, okay, we start with the starting element, but when you go to the end of the dialogue, you actually have another special element, which is an ending element. And this has the attribute dialogue stop or dialogue end. Both are accepted. Now, what this means is that the game will play this and then stop the dialogue, while the Arcweave play mode will continue and go to battle with Balrog the demonic ensues, and go back to our loop, test another dialogue. So let's do the same with Archibald. We have done our starting element, and then we've done our yes I do, no I don't. Then we can just copy these parts from another dialogue. This is a good thing that you have a template already and you can just copy things, duplicate things, duplicating wizards and just changing the stats. So let's go to Archibald, paste. Of course, it's a different wizard here. Battle with Archibald, the dark power specialist. This is weird. This looks weird. There you go. And then I'm changing this as well. And now test another dialogue. So then I can just do this and this. But these two, I have to add the attribute of ending dialogue. Properties, dialogue end, or dialogue stop. Just make sure you don't make any typos when you are writing these values here, because they have to be very, very strictly typed. Now, if we play, we go to our Archibald Dark Power Specialist, we can test the dialogue and move on to the battle, and then move back to our loop. And if we play this, it still stops at this. So this is again the final line of the dialogue. One final thing we need to mention is the credits component. So this component must have the name credits, just as the settings component must have the name settings. And then it only has one rich text attribute called credits. And inside there you can paste all your names, your roles, all the attributions of assets and music, everything else. And this will be shown in the game in the credits page. So that's it. I hope it was helpful with your modding process. I wish you the best of luck with the jam, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you and your teams will be making. I'm Yanis from Arcweave, and let the games begin.